3rd of April 2024. This edition of Boerbeskuit, I'm first going to talk about some local news that we really need to take note of. The first thing that I want to talk about is that whole situation around the Speaker of the Parliament. I've got questions about that, and I want to give you some reasons why I have the questions. The first thing that you have to keep in mind, she was a small fish in that pond where they were feasting on that military budget. Let's call it a budget. She's a small fish, but she's a big fish in the ANC. Now, my question is, who in the ANC or behind the ANC decided to throw her in front of the bus? She was tossed in front of the bus. Don't bluff yourself. But there was permission and approval given by the main peanuts. Okay, there she take her. Now I've got a problem in principle with what's happening there. It is quite obvious that in her defense, she is going to have to give evidence about situations that will definitely imply other ANC members. Now I wonder how high up is those members that are going to be implicated. I have to wonder about that. So this whole case, to me, it looks like a setup. And this is going to sound crude. You must understand, with her being thrown in front of a bus, there's now a hell of a lot of other cadres that are fucking nervous, because they are now beginning to look around them and say to themselves, who's next? Who's going to be the next one? Now, a few things can happen here. Those scared cadres, they can start throwing each other in front of the bus out of fear. And that will be pandemonium in the ANC. Or there can be guys that feels that maybe they should come clean to save themselves. And those are the dangerous ones for the ANC. So I'm beginning to get a feeling that the Speaker has now been set up, and in the machinery of justice, I see she resigned today, which I personally also believe was imposed on her, that resignation. Because if Parliament had to vote on a no confidence, it could create other issues, big issues for the ANC as far as PR is concerned. But it's brutal what I'm going to say now, but I'm afraid she might land in a car accident as a warning to other cadres. Think about it. I now sound like a conspiracy theorist, I know it. But something is not kosher for me there. There's something that stinks. There's something happening. There is something going on in the ANC. Today we had that court case come out where the ANC lost on the cadre deployment case that the DA brought against them. That is also making me think something is brewing in the ANC inner circles, guys. But that is how it works in all these corrupt operators right across the globe. At some stage, some point, they start imploding and they eat one another. That is what's going on. This thing now that Mbalula has been named prominently, I think it's part of a plan. But let that be. Then we get to the next thing. The question about our coal that is being exported at such a hell of a rate. There's something cooking there, and the public needs to wake up and take note. It is millions of tons of coal that is being exported. You're all aware of it. But where is the money for that coal? Where? The people of South Africa sees fuck all benefit out of that. Nothing. I have a question. Is that money actually even coming back to South Africa? Those thieving fuckers from XXX that is stealing basically our coal. They're doing it because they've been doing it for a long time. But now with the country being so deep in the shit financially, it is becoming more prominent. But look what XXX had to pay to get these resources out at prices that are basically theft. It's a heist. What did it cost XXX to ensure that they can get all these things for almost for no money? They paid some cadres. Big bucks in our view, but in their view, fuck all, it's peanuts, pocket change. To start this fucking just energy transition program. That meant millions is being spent on renewables. Millions. Which is basically never going to deliver. But it looks good. And at the same time, Eskom is being decimated by theft and corruption and bad planners, bad maintenance. They are running Eskom into the ground. And in return, that destroys our economy. Under apartheid, we were under sanctions and South Africa was making most of the shit that it needed. We had a strong industrial base, very strong. That industrial base is basically evaporated. But what it meant was that all our raw materials were processed here. And you know what it meant to the country, all the jobs and whatever is connected with all those industries. But you also know that is how the West got rich, through their industrial operations. But they've got a fucking problem. They don't have resources. They need our resources. They need their resources from Africa. So what is important? For them to get their hands on the fucking resources, they must destroy our own processing capacities, which they did. And the ANC played merrily along, and they got big money for it. And the people are fucking stupid enough to keep on voting for them. The people see the railway lines are destroyed. They see these things fall apart around them. But they keep on voting for them. And then they listen for a fucking idiot like Malema. You're sitting in a country where the unemployment rate among youngsters is about 60%. What does he do? He gets onto a fucking stage and encourages women to breed. What does he do else? He promotes the legalization of prostitution. What the fuck is that? Plus, he invites people from the other parts of Africa into our country. He preaches open borders. Your communities, the black communities, are packed with the immigrants. You know what they're doing to you. But yet you listen to a fool like that. What is fucking wrong with you? You like to suffer. Moses 6 verse 6. Stupid people must suffer. And you are following that to the letter. Do I feel sorry for you that being unemployed? No, I don't feel sorry for you. Because you that are unemployed, you also support the EFF. Without fucking thinking. But, Moses 6 verse 6. Then I get this. Plans afoot to raise 4 billion rand bailout for the post office. What the fuck is that? The post office made a profit the last time in 2004. Since then they've been kept alive by bailouts. Now they want to give him another 4 billion. Ask yourself, where the hell is that money going? Where is that money going? Actually going? Because I've read articles they've closed down something like 150 post offices. And then they say, SA consumers will have to tighten their belts for another 4 months. Yippee. We have to tighten our belts so they can piss 4 billion into the post office. What the fuck is wrong with the people of South Africa? Can you not see that you're being robbed blind? No, you cannot see because you keep on fucking supporting the same idiots that put you through misery. You support them. What the hell is wrong with you? Can you not see what these politicians are doing to you? You think they your fucking friends. You fucking stupid. You the carcass on which they are feasting. And then you have this. Consumers to fall deeper into debt due to the electricity tariff hike. Consumers are at a heightened risk of falling even deeper into debt because of the latest electricity tariff hike by Eskom. Sounds so innocent. Who the fuck is behind that tariff? Now for the latecomers to my channel, let me just give you a quick recap. The main reason for the hikes in the electricity price is for the following reason. The renewable fuckers, these IPPs, cannot produce power at the same rate that Eskom can produce it. So these IPPs have been blessed by Cyril and his blessers, but they sit with a problem. They need a higher price for them to make a living. So Cyril says, fuck, no problem boys, let's just hike the price. So now, NERSA is working with them. They're all part of the same gang. NERSA is working with them and hike the price. The consumer must now pay more for electricity. So they want the electricity price so expensive for us, the consumers, so that the IPPs can compete. Is that good business? For sure for them, but not for us. Take note, that is how you are being ripped. All of us are being ripped like that. The price is jacked up so that it can become affordable for the IPPs, the independent power producers. If Eskom is fixed and all the power stations is running as they can run, there's no room for IPPs in South Africa. And let's go a little bit overseas. First problem in the Middle East is that shit of Israel bombing that Iranian embassies and things. Now the US is stating the US had no involvement in the strikes on Iranian consulate, the government claims. The government claims. When the government of America claims, you can know they're claiming shit, because they lie every day of their lives. That's what they do. And the people of Austria must be happy. Austria has announced it will step up police checks at its border with Germany in response to the country's new liberalized marijuana laws. Dacha is now flowing freely in Austria. Now the Germans in Germany are worried about that. But why do they worry? You're going to have streets full of happy people. And here is a lekker one. The largest US fresh egg producer halts production after discovering bird flu. What bullshit is that? We know, our scientist has checked it and assured us that bird flu is not transmitted by chicken eggs. And common sense tells me it could be true, because how would God create a system like a chicken and then an egg, but he allows the egg to be infected by a virus? Doesn't work like that. And here in South Africa, our scientists were comfortable. Bird flu doesn't affect the eggs. The problem was some of these the chicken farmers, egg producers, they were bamboozled by government agencies to kill their chickens. That is why there was a shortage of eggs. Not because the eggs are infected, because the chickens were killed. And then you have this. Pope Francis gets a partner for same-sex civil union support. What the fuck is that? But I've said it in my Skidmarks. Most of it was unfortunately in Afrikaans. The Roman Catholic Church is a lot of Satanists. And then I see this, you have seen it, 7.5 magnitude earthquake hits near Taiwan. Japan has issued tsunami alerts. That is quite a big one. And listen to this crazy shit. Dutch 28-year-old choose euthanasia for depression. Zoria Terbeek, who is physically healthy but suffers from depression, autism, and borderline personality disorder will be allowed to legally end their life due to the euthanasia policies in the Netherlands. And listen to this one. 25% of Gen Zs say they'll need therapy to deal with taxes. A recent Cash App taxes survey found 1 in 4 Gen Z taxpayers said they'll need a therapist to deal with the stress of a tax filing season. Pussies. This is what we have. Pussies. But they are going to be the stuff that XXX is going to feed on. They're going to have a feast with these weaklings. Israeli demonstrators clash with security forces near Netanyahu's residence. In Jerusalem, protesters wielding torches attempted to breach the Prime Minister's home, but were forcefully dispersed by the police. The demonstrators are calling for the government's resignation and urgent negotiations with Hamas for the release of the hostages. Let me just come back to that hostages thing. You must understand, the hostages was taken in the first place by Hamas to exchange for literally thousands of Palestinians in Israeli jails. Children as young as 14 years in jail. So don't get all excited about hostages and then blame Hamas for all this shit. I don't support Hamas, don't get me wrong. Listen to this idiot. US National Security Advisor John Kirby says, "We have not found any evidence that the Israelis have so far violated international humanitarian law." How's that? These people, when they open their fucking mouths, they're lying. That's all they do, they lie. They're heading for a major hiding in Ukraine, and they don't know how to handle it and how to cope with it, because they lied to their people. And a little bit of information from Russia. All involved in the Crocus terror attack will face the harshest consequences. Top Russian senator. The guys are going to jump for that thing. Here's a little bit that you can take note of. The Secretary of the Security Council, Nikolai Patrushev, dismissed claims of Ukrainian involvement in the Nordstream explosions as misinformation, stating that the sabotage aligns with the capabilities of the US and the UK intelligence services. Don't forget that. Ukraine front lines could collapse. Kiev generals admit. Yippee, at last. Top Ukrainian generals have told Politico that there's nothing that can help Ukraine now to counter Russian forces in numbers, technology, and expertise. The officers explained that the Russian forces are adapting too quickly to whatever the West supplies them with, and will be able to penetrate the front line and to crash it in some parts. Reality is beginning to kick in. Here is now something. Taiwan earthquake will likely cause global electronics shortage. Yippee, another shortage. And then I have to talk about this bridge in America, Baltimore. Just listen carefully to this. Apparently 6 weeks ago, some clever Jew took out $1 trillion or $10 trillion insurance policy on that bridge. Now there's stories that it's the same guy that took out the insurance on the Twin Towers. Make of it what you like. But my question is just this. Biden said they will rebuild that bridge quickly, and it's going to cost a few bucks. Obviously the taxpayers will have to pay for it. Now I want to know is how can somebody have insurance on the bridge, the insurance pays out, but the taxpayers must pay for the repair of the bridge? It seems to me like those guys over there has learned from the ANC here, because that's what they did when that generator exploded here at, I think it was at Duva. One of the generator went cuckoos, the insurance paid out, and the insurance money disappeared. They never repaired the generator. That's how it works. And then we have this Stoltenberg wants 100 billion euros for the Ukraine fund. Where the hell is that money going to come from? The European economy is gone. Germany, who is the big contributor to Europe, has been deindustrialized. Where do the people think the money is going to come from? Ramp up defense spending, David Cameron tells the NATO members. The British Foreign Secretary has called on NATO allies to increase defense and production spending to support Ukraine. They've been demilitarized, they've been disarmed, they've been demonetized basically, but they keep on with this shit. Oh, Blinken's Brussels-bound Boeing broken. It seems to me that Boeing's troubles does not end. There was another flight that had to turn around because something went wrong in the toilet and it flooded the cabin floors. Here is something that will make the West, those crazies in Brussels, chew their nails. Russia oil and gas revenues almost double from 2023. And then from Hungary won't participate in NATO efforts to coordinate military supplies to Ukraine. And some good news from Ukraine. Good news, I don't know. Gambling epidemic plagues the Ukrainian military. Ukrainian authorities aim to address gambling addiction among troops due to concerns over morale and security risks. Kiev soldiers are reportedly spending significant portions of their salaries on online gambling, potentially resorting to extreme measures to cover debts. The phenomenon is attributed to stress relief and dopamine addiction among soldiers with some disposable income. And let me end it on this one. Zimbabwe declares a state of emergency over drought. Zimbabwean President Emerson Mnangagwa says his country needs $2 billion in aid to avoid mass starvation after El Nino weather system-induced drought has decimated the harvest. And it is sad, but just let me remind you, about 4 months ago, there was that one smooth-talking guy, you see him every now and then here on YouTube and TikTok and so forth, and on the WhatsApp news groups and so, that was singing the praises of how Zimbabwe was performing in the agricultural sector, telling you all sorts of fairy tales. But that guy is a paid XXX propagandist. Now I'm wondering, he claimed all that marvelous progress and performance in Zimbabwean agricultural sector. And then here along comes reality and bites him in the ass. That's it. They lie, they bullshit, and in the end, reality always takes the win. Please give me a like, subscribe, and share the thing. And thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Let's see if we can't get that subscribers to 15,000. We're so close. But have a great evening.